Yep. This is Mega Mech.
This is the most cursed thing that's ever been made, I think.
No, I can get pretty cursed. There's some pretty cursed cannon designs. I might break out my my collection of TROs and bring a couple over at some point here. But we're gonna spook you by showing you some of the most absolute dogshit designs you can do that are totally legal.
So hey
You
there,
can
guys.
build your own mech.
Since this came out of nowhere, I'm Adam, and I was originally not gonna even do a stream tonight, but the thing I had to do got canceled, and this was kind of a last minute thing.
I'm Tech Priest, and I'm the son of a bitch who's going to probably ruin everyone that plays Battletech's night because they're just going to be like crying about why did you do this?
Oh, and also we have some Discord people in here
Stop.
because yes, Dice Scum does have a Discord. Now let me see if I can remember how to do the thing. How do I link the thing?
Oh no.
Don't worry. I'm technological.
Oh no.
It'll take a while because I'm not very smart.
We're already cursed. That's great. In the meantime, I'm going to make this extremely cursed. Let's
Delete channel almost destroys it.
Let's see. Yep. I can make this incredibly cursed, and I will. All right. 1, 2, and we now have the most cursed mecha possible. I could also just... I'll remove the jump jets. No need to.
And the Irby has jump jets.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is...
You'll see the stream window black out for a second, everyone in here, but don't worry. It's okay. Nothing exploded. It's just how Discord do.
It'd just be how Discord do.
It's how OBS handles Discord.
All right. No, I don't need the array.
And let me be a smart boy. Oh, good. I'm recording both audio. Yeah, that's how literally non-prepped this is.
Yeah. So
the design
first off,
he's coming up with is based on my guideline of put one big gun and its sole purpose is to fire it once and explode.
I'm putting 2 big guns on this, and its sole purpose is going to be to fire them and die. There's a reason why it will fire them, and there's a reason why it will die.
So it's a pump and dump. You know, classic fire for guts.
It's not even that. It's actually garbage at even that. So first off, this is it has stealth armor, which it doesn't really need, but I think it just means
running.
It's going to get hotter.
It
can now silently run through the city at a grand speed of useless.
Oh, is it slower than the Irby?
It's slower than the Irby. It has less armor than the Irby. No, it's actually the same speed as the Irby. It has less armor than the Irby.
Wait, it still has armor? Come on, you don't need armor where we're going.
Okay, yeah, fine.
You don't need armor.
Minimum. We'll go absolute minimum possible legal armor on a design.
Wait, legal? What are you talking about, legal?
And it's also armor on the most useless parts of the mech. We're putting it behind it.
It's to prevent.
What? You planning to run away? You planning to run away, coward?
No, you don't understand, Deck. You need to make it so that there's so little armor that the pilot, if they somehow survive getting out of the mech, because their sole purpose is once they enter it is they're not leaving. They need to feel their cells die as the nuclear radiation permeates through them.
I mean, they're going to die very quickly in this thing. To give you perspective.
Yeah, but statistically, luck states that nothing. They could stand there in the middle of the battlefield and somehow nothing will ever hit them.
No,
no, you don't understand. If they fire their gun once, they explode.
Look at the heat.
Okay, so first off, this design is dumb. I actually will take out the stealth armor because it doesn't really matter. It'd be dumber with it because it means that I'd have to free up more tonnage for something, but I can do this. So a single machine gun with 2 tons of ammo, which is already like everybody that knows about machine guns in Battletech is screaming. I have 2 binary laser cannons. If you're wondering why these are on here, is because they're basically a pair of large lasers slapped together. They weigh almost as much as them. They do slightly less damage than 2 large lasers, and they generate the same amount of heat.
Yep.
they're absolutely useless.
I mean,
On the other
other
hand, they
design
do 12
ethos-
damage, which means
12 damage. That's not bad. It's gonna die, but you know.
they can take the head off of a mech. But all right, so here's the grand thing about this. So first off, it's 30 tons. It weighs less than an Irby, but that needs to be 30 tons to fit 2 blazers on it. Why? Because the second this thing fires, it will instantly overheat itself.
Which is its purpose.
If both of these blazers fire, it will hit 24 heat, and I think I could get that higher if I'm willing to go into clan tech. I can make this dumber.
They steal.
So I will.
They find wreckage of a clan weapon, and they just strap
So
it
there's a
onto
couple
an
of clan
industrial
weapens.
mech.
Isn't that just what the ice has done for
extremely
centuries?
hot. And also, they're not very good at hitting things.
That's fine.
So
It's
here it
fine.
is. I can go for the version that explodes when it's shot, or the version that's harder to shoot and will miss more likely.
I mean, the sole purpose of these is you send prisoners into them and then weld them inside so that they just shoot once and die. That's kind of my logic for this horrible, horrible non-idea.
Hey, by any
Yeah.
chance is your last name Karinsky?
Which one?
Nope.
Not the good one.
Oh, the one who dresses in a fursuit and like fucking dances under the totem pole.
Maybe I was trying to figure out how Russian you were.
I'm
Because holy
actually
shit,
quite
large
Russian.
lasers.
I'm actually quite Russian.
We have 2 large
Oh, that
lasers,
explains
1
your
ton of
design
armor.
philosophy.
We go 2-3, so we're basically not dodging anything that shoots at us ever.
That's fine.
Oh, I can fit a blazer and 2 heavy large lasers. That means that I can fit 4 heavy large lasers.
Yeah, that's the point.
So that's 4.
I don't
and then
expect
just
the
for
person to live when they're done firing.
So first off, this is an IS machine gun, and it's IS based tech. It's mixed intersphere, so we're not going to get case. Not the case would matter because I put all the high explosive stuff inside of the inside of the mech. So I'm going to put both of the guns in the knees because why not? This is totally legal. You can do this in the game. They generally don't like to do that, but you can do it. So there's 4 heavy large lasers, of which I'm going to put like this. It has 1 ton of armor. It moves 2-3, and it's on single heat sinks.
You know, and the only reason you need heat, you have to have them. Like all mechs,
you have to have a minimum of 10. You have to have a minimum of 10 heat sinks. The rules for constructing your own mechs in BattleTech actually was part of the first edition of Battle Droids.
You know, before George Lucas is like, you know, I'm not going to allow you to use that name.
No,
it's
my name.
It belongs to my name because I in the history of Star Wars, even though I haven't written it yet since this is the 80s, there were robots that fought people. See, I actually planned out the Clone Wars since like the 1970s. Ignore that I had no plans other than like 9 pages that I could kind of expand.
All right. So to give you an idea of the overheat here, this mech will instantly shut down if it fires all of its weapons. Instantly.
No, it needs to explode.
Now let me get the heat calculation rules out here because
you don't understand. If you don't explode and/or instantly turn a person into a lobster boil, you're not doing this right.
I mean, if you hit anything with these, it's going to die. For clan heavy large lasers it's spicy.
The concept I'm envisioning for this, if you're wondering, is you take an industrial mech, like this is a peripheral worlds design, and then you kind of kludge together a Loki.
You somehow stumbled across a very old clan tech.
Like this is during the times they're killing each other, the Reaving or the Reckoning or the.
This is the Wars of Reaving, and you are some poor ass fucking Hanseatic pirate, and you've managed to stumble on. Well, you've got a big locust somewhere, and I don't know if they've got the table here in this one for it.
You got
There's
an
a lot of
industrial
tables
grade locust.
Or something. You've got an agromech.
Yeah, an agromech.
And your thought is, I can turn this into a direct fire weapon.
Well, no,
The answer to that
your thought is if I need more firepower, and I don't really care who uses it, so whatever.
Yeah, off the top of my head, this thing will immediately shut down. And I think it's rolling at a 4+, as in if it's a 4 or over, like an 8 to 10 plus on exploding.
Good.
And it's machine gun ammo in the center torso.
Good. That's the purpose. It's designed to kill you instantly and safely.
Now, it's
I'm
also
glad you guaranteed that the pilot will not cook like a lobster instantly, and that they will experience the quick and painless death of being exploded in an ammo explosion.
In which case, I'm going to shift the machine gun ammunition into the head.
Oh, come on, I'm not that big of a monster.
Well, it's because the head needs to be it's not moving. This is an aggro mech. Like it's a shitty. Actually, can I make this? Yes, I can just make this commercial armor. It's literally just rolled steel that somebody has.
Yes.
It's awful. It technically has more armor points then.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's the worst possible armor, and it's all facing rearward.
Because you cut away the frontward armor to lighten the weight.
Yeah, to fit the weight of all of this shit.
Oh, that's what the rear armor's for. It's to counterbalance the lasers.
It's a counterbalance for the lasers. It's commercial armor, which in universe is basically like, this is just some sheet metal that somebody slapped up onto something to help keep something intact. This is like a car door. This thing's been covered in car doors.
It's like putting a fucking 155 millimeter howitzer on a Bob symbol.
Is this unit valid? It is valid.
Holy fuck!
This is street legal.
This is legal. You
What's
can
our cost?
definitely bring
Fucking
this.
God.
It's only 657 battle value. Of that battle value, let's do a calculation.
In the fucking lasers.
So first off, the defensive battle calculation, not very good. Its total defensive value battle is 100. However, its overall battle value, those 4 heavy large lasers should put this thing at a battle value of around 1,000.
So if you need 4 heavy lasers...
But the thing is that it generates 86 total heat from its weaponry.
That's fine.
Which means it exceeds its heat efficiencies, which halves all the BV on it. Which halves is expensive. It's still more expensive than a Locust, I'm pretty sure.
It's impressive.
I fucking snorted. This is so dumb.
I mean, I could make it dumber. I could make it hardened armor, in which case it's barely moving at all. There we go. It's at it's hardened armor, and it has none at all. So it's barely. It doesn't even get to move. I'm kidding. I could, but that would mean that I'd have to drop like a heavy large laser or a ton of ammunition.
We can't do that.
2 tons of ammunition. So here's how the ammo explosion rules in Battletech work, right? So, however much ammo you have left in the tank, if it goes boom, that's how much damage your mech takes, unless you have case. Machine gun ammo has 200 shots in it, and a machine gun deals 2 damage. Let me just show you. Under ballistic, machine gun. So machine gun does 2 damage. Machine gun ammo has 200 shots.
400.
A machine gun ammunition that gets hit will explode with the force to basically detonate any mech on the planet. Good. No exceptions.
Good.
It has 2 tons of it.
Good. Perfect.
Good.
It's getting hot enough that it will just blow up.
Can we call this mech the testifier or the witness to represent witness me as you press the laser button and instantly detonate in a horrible explosion after firing?
Call it the light show, because that's what you're going to wind up as.
There we go. The W1N355. Witness.
Nice.
This is... It's technically experimental because it's mixed inner sphere. I mean, I could probably make it advanced. I could. So yeah, this is technically tournament legal.
Technically tournament legal. You can bring this to a Battletech tourney.
Do they even have those anymore?
Yes.
There's still a decent amount playing. This thing is
Yeah.
very cursed. And hold on, I'm gonna suppress my other Discord notifications so they don't pop up. User settings, notifications. I'll just disable them for right now.
As you can see, we're all clearly professionals here.
That said, there are some dumb mech designs in the game that, for whatever reason, exist. This fits in with it. This is one of the boondoggles. This is without one of the boondoggles. I mean, look at it. It has a grand total of 1 ton of standard armor. It's got most of its armor is concentrated on the rear. It has... Actually, I can just make this lower. Because why would you need armor on your head? Why would you want to protect the pilot?
You don't need it.
You don't need it. You need to put it on the rear because you're going to be running away in this thing.
No, you're not. Your purpose is to fire all of your guns and then hope the explosion kills you instantly before you cook alive in your own suit. Thus commands Commander Adam of the Legion of Pirates in the periphery that built this fucking piece of shit.
I have no idea how the hell that this would have been made, but it's only expensive as it is because it's got clan heavy large lasers.
They found Clan Smoke Jaguar broken mechs after the reaving. That's how.
Yeah.
These are used for prisoners.
This is definitely something that you'd send to, like...
These are people you send on a death mission because you hate them.
This is the most Frankenmech of Frankenmechs. First off, it's got an Irby engine. I want to repeat that. It's got an Irby engine. This is the lowest level of engine you can fit in a mech. It's going 2.3. It's pretty bad. It's still probably not as bad as some...
You couldn't chain a bunch of truck engines together?
I could, actually. Hold on.
Yeah,
if I go for experimental, I think I can make... Yes, I can.
Nice.
An internal combustion engine mech, which goes one... I need it heavier than. But yes, you can make a mech that runs off of an internal fusion engine if you want to. I don't know why you would, but you can if you want to make some periphery war crimes.
Oh, I got it. No. You see, fusion, that's too smart. Fission, that's where it's at, boy. When your mech explodes, you unleash a prompt critical reaction everywhere around you, thus instantly killing any elementals or any motherfucker close to you when you cook off after firing all of your mech weapons.
Does this thing have a speaker with a button that just screams Allahu Akbar?
It's now 40 tons. It's got a little bit of extra armor, which of course is going in the rear. I mean, it's this thing. Oh, this isn't too bad armor-wise. Then you look at it, and it's like, oh wait, no, it's all in the rear.
I think that's a good. The witness is there. We go. That's the witness.
This is definitely. I mean,
its sole purpose is to be used as a terrorist attack mech.
This is a Blakist design. This is neo Blakist just chicanery.
Goddamn jihadis.
I could make it jump, but I don't want to.
No, it doesn't have to. We're good. Other people can get to come up with horrible concepts now.
All right, we're gonna save this. Now I might actually be able to bring it into I might load up a Mega Mech match and have the AI play all these really shitty designs and see how they handle them.
I hope the explosion rolls have a nuclear result.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
So, former Locust pilot, Firestarter pilot, loves the mech, gets told he can design any mech he wants, but he can never drive the Firestarter again. So he's going to design his next mech. So he goes out to Canopus, gets cracked out on everything he can. what mech does this motherfucker come up with? I'm thinking something like a combination between a fire starter and a charger, but maybe an assault class size.
All right, so we're looking at an 80-ton mech with an XL engine that goes. Can I go 6? No, I cannot. Engine rating. So we're 5.8 XL engine. We'll give it 5 jump jets too, because fuck you. That's a lot of weight right there. That's not even adding armor.
We need to make it. We need to make it bigger.
We could, but it's a fire server pilot, and the charger moves the same speed. So that's where I'm like, this is as fast as we can make a mech this size.
Faster, 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 faster.
Faster, faster, faster. So of course we're gonna give it a couple of flamers.
Couple.
By a couple, I mean quite a few.
Do you have a bigger flamer?
There is a heavy flamer, which is 1.5 tons, so we'll add a couple of those. We still need to account for armor, so I'm going to say that this guy managed to get their hands on a clan, not a clan, we're going to go Mix Sphere, and we're going to say that they got their, it's not going to be an XL clan engine, come on. They got their hands on Clan Heavy Flamer. It doesn't matter. It's the same as IS Heavy Flamer. Clan Flamers, though, I can fit more on, so I'm just going to throw four IS grade Heavy Flamers. 1, 2. Come on.
We need more.
2,
there we go.
3.
I believe
4,
in you. There we go.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, sure. It's already really hot, so we're going to call that good for there, but we're going to add a couple more things that just hate infantry. We're going to give it a plasma rifle.
Perfect.
Plasma rifles are kind of interesting in that they're basically... Oh, right, heavy flamers need ammo. So I need at least 4 tons of ammo. And then we'll go for 2 tons of plasma rifle ammo. And that leaves us 9 tons of armor, which is not terrible if I do a little trick here.
Speeds are armor.
We'll go for light ferro.
Speeds are armor.
Speed is sort of our armor here, because we do have 5 jump jets, so with 9 tons of armor, we're about as well armored as a Wolverine, but we're an 80-ton mech. If we kick anything, it'll die.
So what you're saying is this is the creation of Jackie Fisher.
Yeah. Now the main problem with this is that it gets extremely hot.
That's fine.
That's partially because of all the clan things. If I take out some, if I take out the heavy flamers, which it's got clan flamers, those are basically heavy flamers. Come on.
Yeah, screw it. It also frees up ammo.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So
Which
that
you can
frees
put
up
more
weight.
flamers on, a couple more flamers, and then like a little bit more armor. Or more jump jets if you want to go maximum insane.
I could make this with improved jump jets, yes. I think...
What do you think? More armor or maximum crack jumping like Wolverine on meth?
There we go. It can jump 7 now. This thing's terrifying.
You know, now that you've taken off the heavy flamer suit, you can probably put some more plasma rifle ammo on it.
Yeah, but 2 tons of plasma rifle ammo is 20 shots. That's pretty good.
That's not bad,
So-
especially with all the fire.
So I'm going to actually put the spare weight into a heatsink.
Just to make it a little more
Slightly
viable.
less likely to just fucking kill you. So we're going to assign criticals here. I've got 7 improved jump jets. They take 2 criticals each. So we're going to give this an improved jump jet here, an improved jump jet here, improved jump jet here, 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 here.
I love
and here.
that all of it has jump jets, except for
Yep.
the arms, which don't need them.
They can't mount them. That's the only places. We're going to put on this right arm, we're going to drop off that hand and replace it with a plasma rifle.
The perfect mech for a war crime happy Drac Griffin pilot.
This
Yeah.
basically is, yes. This can jump 7, which is already a pretty good thing. Like, it's got a +4 to be hit when it's moving around. It's running light ferrofibrous armor, which is okay. I mean, you're about as well armored as a Wolverine. You're not too unarmored. You're still over 50% armor. It's not as good as it could be, but like, this is a meme. This is straight up a meme.
This is the creation of a fire starter pilot who's gone out of his mind on space crack. So
I mean, if I dropped the plasma rifle for a plasma cannon, I think that the plasma cannon is lighter.
do you think Crackhead was thinking this?
Plasma cannon is lighter, so yes, we'll go for that.
Speed's armor.
Speed is armor. Speed is armor. But also, it means that we can add
Put more
armor
flamers on it.
and put more flamers on it, and more heat sinks.
Actually,
So,
yeah, maybe instead heat sinks. Like he thinks maybe I should put a couple heat sinks on it.
Well, the
I
other
mean, he
thing is
does want
that
to fire them all, so you know.
the other thing is that the fire starter is basically known for killing infantry. It's going to want some ER flamers as well.
Ooh.
Clan spec too, so it's not quite as dumb as you'd think, but there we go. That gives us 6 tons to play with, which I think is enough for a plasma cannon.
It is.
Yes, it is. Does the plasma cannon need ammunition? I'm pretty sure it does. Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
does.
All right, we're good. So that's enough for that, and 2 tons of ammunition, and I can armor this to 10 tons of light ferrofibrous.
So that's
Which
a
is
little
pretty-
better armored.
Yeah, which is an extra 17 there. So now it can, yeah, that's actually pretty decent armor. If this was a 20-ton lighter mech, I'd say that's actually pretty good.
But it isn't. It isn't.
But it isn't. It's still got 169 points of armor. Nice.
And it still has all those flamers.
Oh boy, we still haven't actually allocated all these yet.
No, we haven't.
This thing is, well, we're putting the plasma cannon in the head, obviously. We'll put the plasma
Fine,
cannon
don't worry
ammunition.
about it.
I kind of wish you could put it in the crotch.
That's where the jump jet is.
Oh, okay.
So we got 2 ER flamers. We're just gonna remove hands because this thing doesn't need hands. It just has flame.
Where we're going, we don't need hands.
Anything that gets within range of this, it's going to shut down with the sheer amount of heat it puts out. So this is a lot of flamers. I'm just saying.
Where we're going, we won't need hands to win.
So we're just gonna fill the torsos out with clan flamers. So the second that you walk within like 3 hexes of this
You
dude,
stop existing.
if you're infantry, you just die.
You just stop existing.
Well, we actually can get a half ton more out of this because that's the flamers. So I'll drop the armor by half a ton, which
Makes it a
Not
little
too-
crapper, but you know, it's
a
fine.
little crapper, but that way we can fit on an extra.
Flamer.
Yes. Where were we?
We do a little barbecuing here.
This tonight on Drivers, Dine-Ins, and Dives.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. A while back we came up with this really funny idea for a planet in BattleTech called the planet Fieri. And here's the
Speaking-
reason. Here's the logic. It is because it is the site of a cooking academy that prepared chefs that were not always but often hired by Cameron Kings during Star League. And that is why the clans want to take it. Because of the
Okay.
Culinary Academy in connection to Star League's, chef corps.
Oh god, this thing is so awful.
Imagine a batch all where you use this fucking thing to cook a million course meal.
The funniest thing is that there's battle armor with heat resistant armor that would probably laugh a bit at this, but I don't care because it's still funny.
This thing is designed for This thing is suitable for not only frying all your people, but for all your propane accessory needs.
This thing is designed for war crimes.
This
This
thing's
is for burning
piloted by-
orphanages.
This is this is piloted by Hank Hill, trying to advocate the use of propane and propane accessories.
I'll
This is
take a little
Hank
bit
Hill
on-
after he was found out he was drafted in Vietnam and had a psychotic breakdown.
Hank
we go.
Hill. Hank Hill, after like 8 weeks of boot camp under his pop's cotton.
Yeah, it's not jumping as far as it theoretically could,
Not bad,
But-
Shum, but I kill 50 million men.
but at the same time, look how many flamers it's got.
How many can you fire at once? How close to overheating so they can't do it without overheating itself?
Yes, over 40 heat, you can't dissipate out of it.
Yeah, you need to be about 30. So it could, if it doesn't fire the ERs and the plasma cannon, it's not going to overheat fully, but it's risking shutdown.
Still a better idea than what I suggested, though.
Yeah, this is. I wouldn't call it good. Its niche is literally like I want to burn things.
If you know you're gonna be fighting an infantry heavy army, you can bring one of these boys along and it's okay.
This is an anti-infantry mulcher. This is an anti-battle armor mulcher, and this is also like a. I really, really, really hate Capellans, and I want to burn them alive.
See, this is what you use if you need to commit war crimes in the Capellan's houses area.
So it's the most based of mechs.
Yeah. All right. We need a name for it.
Oh fuck! I'm shit at
I
naming
love the
things.
smell of burning Capella meat in the morning.
What's the name of the oh god? What's the name of the crazy colonel man from the Kurtz?
From Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, Kurtz, right?
Yeah,
believe
Colonel
so.
Kurtz, I think so. Yeah.
It's the Kurtz. You could also call it the Fury because it came from space.
Let's see. So it's the Kurtz BBQ KRO.
I like it. I like it.
First,
I
I
want
like
to see
it a
what the
lot.
AI does with this.
first invented by a psychotic Hank Hill from the planet Texas.
Yep. We can actually write that down, include manufacturers and all that with making this.
Oh man, yeah, the
Well,
designer's
let's see,
Hank
it's
Hill.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
I think
12,
it was
13,
Midland Propane or
14,
something.
15, 16 flamers. Playing by the rules of Battletech here, this thing can give another mech 32 heat if they all hit. It's gonna generate a lot of heat, but it's gonna deal 32 heat damage to somebody, which could blow them up, but it will shut them down. You can suicide shut down yourself to shut down another mech with this, which is kind of neat.
Yep, you can use it to do that, or again, if you know you're dealing with a lot of infantry or battle armor, it's really
It's not
good
bad.
at stopping that.
I mean, you can also make an ammunition heavy mech just explode. So, you know what? There's worse mechs out there.
Yeah, like
That's what his
like the
dream was:
Witness.
charging the Atlas variant with the auto cannon and then making an ammo explosion on an Atlas.
You know,
Yeah.
this reminds me of another horrible idea I had, where its sole purpose is to booster thrust into someone and then explode.
Well, we can do that.
Give it a
Gentlemen,
friction engine.
We could, but my horrible fire gun once and die method was already used, so.
gentlemen, I wish to present to you the gladiator rules.
Oh.
Alright.
Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make a mech that's sole purpose is to heat up so that it can activate TSM, and it has melee weapons. It has 2 of them.
Oh,
TSM,
yeah,
I'm
that stuff.
unfamiliar with that.
Basically, it's a
Triple
type
strength
of
monomer.
it's a type of muscle fiber you can put in your mech, where you ride the line on your heat output to actually make yourself more powerful.
Oh, I thought that was Mask.
Mask can also do a similar thing, but we're looking at
TSM is what I think is in the Black Knight models.
So it's for strength, whereas like Mask is for speed.
Yep, you
Alright.
basically exploit a certain level of heat inside your mech to maximize its ability.
Alright.
Okay.
And
So
it's
we need to
really,
be able to
really
generate.
scary when it gets going,
We need to be able to generate on demand 18 heat.
because that is the magic number.
The magic number is 8 or 9. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it might be 7. But being able to do that so that we can walk if we have to, that's easy enough. We just grab small lasers.
Look at all those little guys.
Another 2. Just to be safe so we can always maintain that heat no matter what's going to happen. Next we look at physical weapons. This is where the fun begins. Alright, so the ones that vary by battle value and by tonnage are stuff like retractable blades, which can be useful for using special rules, otherwise they're kind of meh. Swords, which are basically, I just don't get why you'd use them, they're just a better 2 hit. They're okay with TSM, but I guess what we'll do is we'll give this thing a sword, and we'll give it a hatchet.
Oh, no wrecking ball or no punching fist.
It doesn't need them. Because you'll see in a second here. Other equipment, we're gonna give this thing. Where is the supercharger? That might be under advanced.
Could you put a spike on its head so that it can
Yes.
headbutt people when it runs at them?
I'm going to add spikes to it as well.
Get a pickle hub.
I might have to go experimental for this, which I think is a little annoying, but there you go.
Invented by a very drunk psychotic House Steiner noble.
No, this is a Solaris build. This is a Mech Gladiator build because this is the sort of thing that a Mech Gladiator would do. I might have to go experimental here. All right. I can also give it a shield, but I won't because that's just
It
not as
doesn't need
effective.
shields where it's going.
Ram plate could be useful, but not quite as useful as, well, the hatchet for one thing. That's right. I could give it a combine.
What's that do again?
That's to mulch infantry.
Ah,
But
yes.
I think I can put talons on it, so that when it kicks, it'll do more damage.
Give it bird feet.
Yeah, I might have to make that mixed tech to do that. Let's go with mixed intersphere then. Equipment.
This is not legal though, still, or yeah.
Well, we haven't added everything yet. Claw. There we go. Talons.
So, given that we're trying to get heat on demand, wouldn't it be better to use ER small lasers, given they generate more heat?
No, regulate our heat exactly.
Ah.
Because here's the glory of this sort of thing, right? So TSM works in a certain way. Just equipment assign criticals. Yeah, there we go. So talons are assigned. We'll put a hatchet here, sword here. Criticals are where this thing's going to start to run into issues, but that's not too big of a problem.
But you haven't explained how TSM works.
All right, so TSM kicks on when you hit a certain heat level. You want it to be at a certain, if I remember correctly, it kicks on at heat 8. 8 or 9. So actually, I'll add an extra small laser just to be a dick.
Just to guarantee.
Yeah, and again, you might be walking. And it's also so that you can adjust what heat sinks you have on and off. And that gives me 8 other criticals to play with. I still have about 14 tons of whatever else to play with, too. Please tell me you have spikes. There we do. Here we go. Okay.
It needs its pickle hub.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. Do we have a supercharger? Yes, we do. Oh, baby. Here we go. So we can put a clan supercharger in here, and that is critical. We are critical neutral. We are good. All right. So first off, we're going to maximize our armor. We're going to make it, fuck it, we'll make it clan. We can't. Ice Pharaoh, can't make that either.
Use that lighter Pharaoh.
Light, still out. So we can't do
Standard?
Pharaoh. That's fine. We're at 15. We're at 15 and a half tons of armor. It's pretty good.
Oh, we're
The
doing a spacer armor.
8.5. 8.5, we don't want that, so we're gonna have to drop something.
Probably.
I'm just gonna say we're gonna drop the sword.
Yeah, just save the.
We're gonna
hatchet.
drop the sword and we're gonna put claws on it instead.
That way, even if you disarm it, it can stab you with its hands. For those
Physical
wondering,
weapons.
the design principle for this is similar. There are certain melee designs, and I mentioned the Black Knight is a good example of that. That does
Actually,
this.
I can't put the claw on if I want to be able to use TSM. So, and the supercharger. I'd have to
It's
pick one or
fine.
the other.
It's fine.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
drop the claw. We'll
I
add.
think the concept of mechs like these, especially the kind of Black Knight thing, is based on. I use Gundam as an example a lot, but very Gyan inspired, which is a mech that specializes in swords, and it has a little bullet shield that it can use.
All right. So I'm putting spikes on the front. The reason for this is that this reduces ramming damage and increases our ramming damage. This is a 3-ton supercharger here in the center torso, so it can go even faster.
Faster, 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 faster.
Now,
'Gave you a little more armor to play with, which helps.
12.5 tons of armor it's okay. Like, I wouldn't call it amazing, but it's
It's a
okay.
gladiator mech. It doesn't need the most armor.
Enhancement, triple strength polymer.
We're there.
We are in the money. All right. So first off, what does this mean? And why is this battle value going to be lying to you like a son of a bitch? Well,
that
firstly,
battle value's a lie.
the battle value is a lie. If you want to know why, all right. First off, hatchets allow you to hit with basically half again your tonnage. If you are a 50-ton mech and you have a hatchet, you're hitting like a 75-ton mech with your punches, basically. That's pretty good. TSM doubles that.
When it hits its heat threshold, basically, this guy, he's 50 tons, but he hits with the force of a 150 tonner.
He's an 80-ton mech.
Oh god, that's even worse. So he hits with the force of a 240 tonner.
Yes.
Which is impossible to build.
The other mech that goes like this is the Berserker. There's a Berserker variant with triple strength monomer and a hatchet, and it's a 100-ton mech. That thing does 40 damage every time it fucking hits you with that hatchet with TSM active. An AC-20 is basically like the king of oh shit in close combat. I disagree. A mech with TSM, a hatchet, and that's around 80 tons is going to be pretty close. The other reason why this thing is scary is that TSM increases your speed. So, first off, this thing is it's supposedly it's a 5.8. Like, that's not too special, right? Well, when TSM's active, it now is a 6.9. It's also got a supercharger, so it can go like 6.11.
That means it's gonna get
ramming
right
damage.
Up in your face.
Ramming damage is based off of, you guessed it, how far you moved.
Yeah, and it's
your
going
tonnage.
Fast. And it weighs
so it's
quite
an
a bit.
80-ton mech moving 80, like an 80-ton mech that moves about 8 hexes is dealing about what, 64 damage on a ram, if I'm remembering my logic right.
Something like that.
So that's why the charger can be very dangerous, because if it actually gets the charge off, it's gonna fucking just murder you. This thing is basically doing the same thing, except it's got TSM, so it's even faster.
And
so it can go even further.
If you somehow survive the ram, that's what the hatchet's for.
Yes.
And the claws and the talons.
And the talons. So if this thing kicks you, with TSM active, it's doing around 30 points of damage per kick. It's pretty fucking nasty. This thing will kick and punch and brawl basically any mech smaller than it to death pretty fast. The only downside is it has an XL engine, so it's a little more vulnerable there. And it doesn't have quite as much armor as I'd like. But you've got a hatchet.
And if you somehow manage to survive all of that, by the time the next turn rolls around, you probably got them small lasers prepped again.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is that it can maintain its heat as long as it wants to. If you have a couple of flamers, it can just stop firing small lasers. It doesn't need to worry about that sort of thing. As long as it can move, it's good. It's going to be able to go hard into the paint. There's probably people that have made more disgusting versions of this with like Mask, because you can go even faster. Mask does combine
like the
with
charge build that he set up. Mask is much more efficient and nasty on that front end attack
yeah. This though is designed, as I mentioned,
to kill.
to go 10 hexes. It'll go 10 hexes and it will murder you. Because that's 80 damage on the charge, and it does extra damage because of the spikes, and it takes less damage because of the spikes. So, go fuck yourself. It's obviously not the Charger, but that's definitely what the base chassis we're working on.
Let's see. You said it's a gladiator design kind of mech in your head, right? I can't really think of any gladiator types that use the hat, like an axe. So maybe oh man, what's the name? What's the name of that stick they gave you when you graduated and paid off your debt as a gladiator? Oh, yeah, he came up with the name.
Yeah, you can.
Did you just label it Satan's Special?
The Solaris Special, because this is
Solaris
basically
Special.
all it's good for. This is a machine that if a clanner ever agreed to honor deal you in, I would say, yeah, sure, go for it, buddy. I've got 12.5 tons of armor. I know that that's not enough probably to survive, but with a half decent pilot, you can close the distance
And
just murder them. Yeah. Unfortunately, it costs 30 million C-bills.
That's
It's
It's
fine.
going to be a bitch to maintain.
This thing is expensive as hell. It's also really dumb.
It's fine. This pilot is sponsored by Steiner.
Yeah, actually,
Well, they're incompetent, but this is more of a Solaris, as he said.
No, I said that's who's bankrolling the pilot, the designer.
Yeah, the other bit behind this is that the absolute preponderance of small lasers is going to make this basically a disco death mech. It's just going to be firing lasers all the time to keep that TSM up. It's just randomly, wildly firing lasers in all directions.
Just as it should be.
It's incredibly dangerous to be near.
Speaking of being incredibly dangerous to be near, you have the Disco Death Mech. I have something far more stupid in mind.
Oh, 17 small lasers is pretty stupid.
But is it nothing but machine guns?
There is a mech that does that. It's called the Piranha, and it's a bastard. But we can make the Mega Piranha.
Make a 100-ton mech piece of garbage with its main thing, besides all the machine guns, is like a couple, an autocannon. It has to have something bigger, right?
Yeah, we'll give it an autocannon too.
This is designed. Okay, my logic is this is done by a house like a Lyran Confederacy ammunition company, desperately trying to not go out of business, and they come up with a mech design that is perfectly catered to their specific ammunition. Basically, they were rejected because of a different ammo size compared to the normal for standard Lyran mechs.
Yes. Now,
so they designed this just to advertise their ammo.
I mean,
and because it's how Steiner, because it's the Lyrans, they're gonna say yes because corruption and stupidity are rampant.
All right.
Either that, or they're trying to sell it to orcs.
All right, so we're gonna grab. In which
a
case,
mech
we'll grab an
designer
ultra
is possessed by a shooter boy. He has a stroke.
He's been taken by a fey mood. He has now locked himself in his workshop.
And he's talking in a horrible
He is-
Cockney accent, despite only speaking German. He somehow is now able to perfectly speak English.
All right. So we got a machine gun here. What we're gonna do is we're just going to click add.
Just add until our hands get tired.
No, I'm gonna need to be able to feed all these
True.
machine guns. So I think 8 tons of ammunition would cut it, but I want to tie them all into an array. So they will all fire at once. And then I guess we'll add.
One autocannon.
I already have the autocannon too.
Yep.
So it has some range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't get that many tons, so we'll remove that and remove that. And now it has approximately 25 tons to play with for armor and other things.
I mean, if you need a little more ammo, you could get rid of one
6
of the machine guns.
Let's see,
to
6
allow
tons.
it more time.
And just to be stupid, we'll max out our heat sinks. There, that hits us at 100 tons. Maximum armor. Maximum heat sinks. It can sink 32 heat, it generates 4. We'll put the Ultra Autocannon 2 on one of the arms. We'll remove a hand, which would free up 1 critical slot, which I can use for ammunition by dropping a heatsink. And I think I want that extra ammunition because this thing doesn't actually have case. We'll actually go for half a ton of machine gun ammo. And then case. Because God forbid that if this thing explodes, the pilot's going to just die. In which case I might actually
Well,
have...
hey, if your mech gets damaged, that's a secondary function of this thing. Not to die,
alright.
but like, when it cooks off, anything near it's dead.
I think I went with a light engine too. No, I went with a Clan XL engine because why not?
The Clan Handjob Dolphin came up with this one.
Clan Handjob Dolphin. All right.
Handjob Dolphin.
If you need to come up with a clan, for those of you who don't know, all you have to do is pick an animal that hasn't been picked yet, and then
And
a
a sex
random adjective. You can pick it
Just
from
some
the thesaurus. You could make it really dirty, make it real clean. Doesn't matter.
This seems safe.
This seems safe. Perfectly safe.
All right.
Clan Rim Job Adder.
Yeah.
And autofill. There we go.
I got it. Clan Felching Marmot.
Okay.
Felching Marmot.
So this is... So this has 1,400 machine gun ammo shots. This has 31 machine guns and a machine gun array. If you use the alternate burst fire rules, this thing could theoretically explode from the heat buildup of firing all these machine guns. It still goes 4.6 though, which, I mean, there's worse. And hey, it's still cheaper than most Clan Assault mechs.
Nice.
26 million C-bills, 26.5 million C-bills for 2 machine guns in each leg. Actually, if I want to be really stupid, I'm going to make those machine guns face rearwards in the legs.
So it could shoot behind it.
Yeah. Same thing with one on the torso.
There we go. Now it has some rear point defense.
Yes, bullet diarrhea.
This thing basically... I mean... There's dumber. There's always dumber.
But 100-ton
this
mech
is up there.
specs and machine guns.
This thing is designed to mulch infantry, and only infantry, and anything dumb enough to get within 3 hexes. Outside of 3 hexes, all it can do to you is shoot its AC2 at you, and that AC2 has a chance to jam. So, if it wants to do more than 2 damage to you. So this thing is literally the definition of it's incredibly intimidating to infantry on the ground, and then a fucking locust can punk this.
So here's since it was made by Clan Handjob Dolphin, or so because of that, it should have the name like Quillfish or Puffer, because it's like
All
a
right.
puffer fish, harmless and covered in spines.
The fluffer fish.
Tech, I see your bullet diary, and I raise you a bullet bukkake.
And I want to note that all of these machine guns are linked to a single targeting system.
Yeah. Have
So
fun
if
gaming.
you roll once and you determine whether or not you hit with all of them, that's 60 damage. This mech can kill you through just criticals, because all those shots, if you don't fire it with the machine gun array, all those shots have a chance to deal a critical hit to your engine. It's fishing with 30 of them per turn. That is disgusting and stupid.
And a viable way to play it.
And a viable way to play. It would also, if this was actual tabletop, cause the other guy to reach over the table and strangle you to death, because you're rolling 30 fucking times again and again
So
for
how
hit
would
locations.
So Tech, how would you feel if I walked up with this fucking thing? Like, hey.
Hey, I want to play this. It's rules legal. It's
rules
tournament legal.
And you see that and the fucking witness, which its sole purpose is to fire once and explode.
I think the witness wins in terms of just like, what the fuck is this? But this comes close.
The sheer audacity. The absolute audacity of this bitch.
Oh, I still have other dumb
All right.
ideas, but
No,
others...
I'm gonna actually load up a couple of. Yeah, I'm gonna load up. In the meantime, I'm gonna load up a mech that I genuinely have no idea why the fuck it exists.
This is actually made by FASA and or WizKids and or whoever owns them.
Everyone.
So you can blame them. This is nothing. This is Adam did not create this. No one created this in this group chat.
Let's see. It is not this one. This one's actually okay.
Unless it turns out the Discord actually has one of the mech designers that's like, no, I made this.
Okay, this is the hoplite. The hoplite has an AC5 and a LRM-10, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. It has 16 heat sinks. It generates, an AC-10 and an LRM-5. It has 16 heat sinks. It generates a grand total, when it is moving, of 7 heat.
Oh no!
It also looks like a fucking potato.
Oh
no! Let me open this up for you here.
Oh, it looks like a walking space potato.
It looks kind of cute, yeah.
I like
it. It does, and then you realize it's absolutely fucking useless.
It's like that combat mech from Halo 4.
So what you're saying is even my suicide mech is
it kind of does.
bad.
Here is the original art from it, by the way. God, I love the 90s.
You have
actually
10 seconds to drop your weapon.
It actually kind of does resemble the ED-209.
Yeah. It's also, I want to note that this is one of the mechs that Wolf's Dragoons was like really like, oh, it's so cool. They have this mech, and it's like,
it
looks garbage,
nice, but it's terrible.
It's absolutely garbage.
If you upgunned its weapons a little bit.
The D model's okay because it has an LBX autocannon. It still has 16 double heat sinks though, which, why? Are you planning on fighting in a fucking volcano?
Actually, it turned out that this was invented by a mad scientist who lived on a planet that was right next to the sun. That's why.
Yeah, this is also one of the oldest mech designs in existence, coming out in 2578, because somebody wanted a dedicated infantry support platform. And it is a dedicated infantry support platform, in that it's terrible for anything but that.
So what you're saying is, if you cut the heat sinks down by like 4,
if you cut them down to like 12 heat sinks to say like, okay, it might have to run into people with Inferno LRMs and it wants to be able to in SRMs and it wants to be able to keep fighting, which it would be in an infantry combat, and you replace that with like machine guns, I'd say that this would be a fucking crazy good counter-insurgency platform because it's cheap. I mean,
Yep,
yeah,
12
it's
heat sinks,
cheap.
add a couple machine guns, maybe up one of its weapons by a bit.
Actually, here's what we'll do. We'll make this
We'll make
not
a better
garbage.
mech. Cut
We'll
it
go
down
with
by 4.
12 heat sinks. That frees up 4 tons of ammunition. What we'll do is we'll remove that AC-10.
Because it's not
and
really worth it.
No, the AC-10 is fine. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to give a bit of a more advanced mech. So we're going to say that this is 2675, or sorry, 2765. Just the start of the American Civil War era. We're going to make the standard tech at the time so that we get access to this bad boy right here. LBX-10 autocannon.
There we go.
I cannot stress enough how much I love LBX-10 autocannons. They're great.
This just needs a bit of ammo.
The best thing about them is that they can fire cluster and solid, so they can poke holes at you at range with the solid shot, and then they can hit you with cluster. And they can also hit dodging enemies better with cluster, which is like shooting an LRM-10 at them. Except that it can critical anything, because it all those pellets get to individually roll where they hit. Not clustering around, individually roll where they hit, which means that you can, if somebody's stripped the armor off of a location on a mech, and you've got a guy with an LBX autocannon, you just point that bastard at it, you pull the trigger, you might hit something critical and kill the mech.
How many pellets are there?
10. That's how they work. So, LRM-5 is okay for like long range.
There we go.
There's worse.
And
But we've
actually,
got 4
since it's
tons
a
to play
new,
with.
Yep, and since
we'll call this the 4. We'll actually call this the 4D.
These nuts.
These nuts.
Let's think of a good Star League name.
What did they usually name their stuff
Oh,
like?
I know. So because there was a planet, it's called Liberty now, but basically there was a planet during the American Civil War that was the host to basically the SLDF's Marine training facility, and by Marines I mean like the actual like expeditionary units. So it was basically a mix of infantry, armor, aerospace assets, and mechs that held out against Ameris for like a decade on their own, while being like 2 jumps away from Earth and getting nuked multiple times. They basically drew the Ameris army into a meat grinder campaign of island hopping because they had to secure the nuclear weapon bases that were on the planet. So we're going to call it there. So let's see. We could give it jump jets, actually.
That would make it a little more mobile.
Yeah, and it's not too bad on the heat either. It still has 4 heat to spare, so it could still take a hit from an Inferno missile or 2.
Which is,
not have to worry about heat at all.
And this makes it a much better infantry support vehicle.
Yeah, it makes it actually quite a good infantry support vehicle. Because now it can jump around and it can follow you. It's got enough ammo to last through most of a fight, and then we'll add in a couple of other things because, well, we need to be able to keep fighting. So we're going to add a machine gun.
Yep, just
we'll add
one
2 machine guns. And half a ton of ammunition. Why? Because we're going to protect all of our stuff behind case. So that if they do get through our armor, which is pretty good armor for a mech this size, it's actually the maximum effective, really.
So we're not only making horrible mechs, we actually made a pretty good one here. And by made, I mean we took a mech that the concept made sense, it's just it needed a little more.
Yeah, so we'll throw the LBX-10 on it. Throw all of our...
You really like shoving all your ammo on the right side of the torso.
Well, we need to move the ammo out of here, and there's an LRM-5 over here. So we could put it all in here, but there's no reason to. Because I can put the machine guns in the center torso.
Just to give it something in case it runs out of the big boy stuff.
Put the jump jets in the legs.
Just imagine you bring out with a hoplite, and the Amaris are just laughing at it, and then it hops. It can jump.
It's a hoplite. It's a hopping hoplite, and it's also pretty good on your BV. It's only it barely costs more than a Wolverine or a Griffin. Not bad.
Not bad for the roll.
No, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's not great, but it'll kill whatever you want it to kill. It's ammunition dependent, which does suck in longer battles, but it's got machine guns. It can jump away from a fight. And it's also got I could throw I could drop some stuff. I could have thrown like an anti-missile system on it instead, but that's just like, why?
I mean, it's still a hoplite.
Yeah. But now it looks a little less stupid.
Well, no, it still looks like a potato. It's just the big gun it had on one side is replaced with a better gun, and it can jump now.
Yeah. And that's what you can do with construction rules. If there's a mech you like, but you're like, I want to change something around, you can change it around really quickly. Very commonly,
Just make
what people
sure
will do
you
is
warn people when you bring, like, if you're gonna bring a hoplite carver, make sure to point out that the differences it has.
yeah, that's what's on the record sheet, because all of your sheets are going to have something like this, where it will tell your opponent that it's got an LRM-5, an LBX-10, and 2 machine guns, along with where the cluster stuff is, so that you can record it.
As for the origins of this, basically the Marines were testing a new model of hoplite, and Amaris came in.
Yeah, basically this was a proposal for like a midlife upgrade for militia mechs, and there you go.
Nice.
See, we're capable of being good, and by we I mean Tech, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, what I could also do is I could make the LRM an LRM-10, but it's infantry support. An LRM-5 is fine. Machine guns are fine. An LBX-10 is arguably overkill.
Yeah, and the 10X is mainly your big shooty gun anyway.
Yeah, this is for killing anything that has actual armor.
And the clusters allow you to even further screw up infantry if you don't use it on a mech.
The cluster ammunition allows you to rip apart most of a squad of infantry with a lucky shot, or make
destroy or
flying
screw up a
vehicles.
mech after you punch a hole in its armor.
Yeah, or make flying vehicles cry, because it's easier to hit them, and all it takes is a single BB, and suddenly, oh shit, I have to make a piloting skill check. Oh no, there's the ground.
Okay, actually, since we're talking about piloting vehicles, 30-tonner special with cluster munitions designed to shoot them down and make them cry.
Okay, 30-tonner is I can't really do it on. I could do it on a 55 though.
50-tonner.
Okay, we'll go for a 50-tonner.
I've got one after this. It'll be good.
All right, 50-tonner.
The idea is they wanted to make a lighter, not as light as possible, but the concept was screw up any landing ships.
Basically, just as a sky broom.
Yeah, a sky broom, and if possible, also able to use some of it against infantry. Kind of the opposite of the hoplite the hoplite variant you made, where it's mostly air, but it can do infantry in a pinch.
All right, so we'll go for 4, and we'll say that we're going to use a light fusion engine. This is a little later tech, but
yeah,
that's just to give me more tonnage to play with, because I'm going to want about 10 tons of armor on this thing. Let's go for actually 8. 8 tons of standard armor should be fine. That puts it in the range of the rifleman. For energy weapons, I think a plasma rifle wouldn't be bad. Plasma rifles are really nasty against infantry, and they're relatively efficient. 2 tons of cluster ammo for those LBX autocannons. It's not too bad. Swap over to double heat sinks. Again, this thing is going to be a little bit expensive, but not too bad. I've got 3.5
If
tons
you're
to play
wondering
with.
what I'm envisioning, it crawls on 4 legs like a turtle.
Oh, I can actually do that.
Like I'm envisioning a turtle
God.
mech. Don't you
I
like
can make a
turtle
quad mech, yeah. All right.
Because we haven't done
I'll make
quad
a
mech,
quad.
so I'm envisioning like a turtle, and if it has a plasma rifle, it's in like above the head like a horn,
Yeah, so let's see.
and it's anti-air stuff is on its back.
So
Isn't
it's a
that just a
ballistic.
scarab from Halo?
Was it?
Yeah.
I think I could give it a targeting computer, but that's gonna wait. Let's get
I thought
the
the Scarab was anti-air.
Scarab was anti-everything. Like
Can
the
you show me a
the point of
scarab?
the
Because
Scarab.
I
Yeah.
might be ripping off the scarab on accident.
Scarab's
No,
fine.
wait, there
though.
wasn't that. God,
I'm
So
also
there wasn't
quite drunk, so you know.
No, you might be right. Like I might be unintentionally ripping off the scarab in this design.
Yeah, we'll go for 2 things of cluster ammo, which is absolutely useless, but it's hilarious.
Actually, let me see. I'm gonna see if I've ripped off the scarab. You will for chat and the stream, it'll go black for just a little bit because of how again OBS is weird with Discord. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, this thing. I can see where you're coming from, but that's not quite the concept I was thinking. Because it has a big fuck off gun on top.
Okay, so a scarab as designed by Armored Core.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you thought that. Like, I get it, and you'll see you'll definitely see the white screen come back. Sorry about that, chat. I just wanted to make sure. But no, like, I was envisioning more like there, a couple of anti-air turrets or something that can maybe not necessarily swivel. Maybe they hook along an axis like a flexing like an elbow. I mean,
Yeah.
swivel would be the best, but that's more complex and complicated.
I'm gonna want a
Swivel
case.
turret. Can you actually determine whether or not it's a swing or a swivel turret?
I'd have to look at the special rules for it, but if I'm remembering correctly, if it's on the center torso, it can be a turret. I can add a turret. I think there's a turret equipment. Hold on.
Since it has 2 cluster ammunition things, I'm thinking one would be facing front and one facing the rear.
I was actually just gonna put them in the side torsos.
Side torso works too. See, this is Adam actually trying to make something not complete dog shit.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know the rules, so I'm basically leaning on. I'm pulling the evil video game company logic of letting the code monkeys design it for me. Because I don't understand nothing, or the contributions they provide.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Here we go. So this thing will run a little hot, but what it does have is it has anti-personnel pods in its legs, because I thought, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
So basically it's got
kind of fight infantry, but it's more anti. It's a fly swatter, not an infantry killer.
Yeah, no, I can't put there. So basically, this is in case infantry somehow sneaks up on it, its legs explode. This also means that its legs will explode if these get hit in a critical spot. It'll blow up. So little bit of a thing, a possible problem with this mech, but
yeah, I mean, if I'm ripping off Halo, I'm not trying to. I just
yeah, let's see.
I just went with quad mech because I was envisioning like a turtle. Well, not really. I just thought, hey, why not make it like a turtle?
Yep. So the nice thing about plasma rifle ammunition is it's actually inert. It's a lot like Gauss rifle ammunition. If it gets hit critically, it doesn't actually explode. There we go. It gets a little hot, but let's allocate the armor.
I think someone was thinking of with the anti-aircraft thing. Just look up. Actually, there is an anti-aircraft Covenant gun.
Yeah, the Wraith anti-aircraft one.
No, it's called the Mantis.
The Mantis is the mech.
No. There's apparently a Scarab that looks like a Covenant vehicle called the Mantis. Those anti-aircraft guns, I think that one mission in Halo 3 you had to blow them up.
Yeah, I vaguely
Those
know
are
what
wraiths.
you're talking about.
Those are like specialized wraiths.
Oh, the AA raves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Save someone right before the flood mission.
yeah, that one. I remember that one.
This is actually a pretty cheap anti-aircraft platform. It's not as cheap as a blackjack, but it's up there in terms of like, oh, what do you get out of this? Well, you get a quad mech that moves 4/6, which, surprise, surprise, 7 tons of armor on it. Not the greatest, but the legs are actually pretty well armored. The rear is thin as hell, but that's okay. Might actually swap some stuff around and pump that up.
And as you're doing that, what would a Goliath look like if, due to certain circumstances, causing them to overlook that it's a mediocre quad, and the SLDF decided to give it a midlife upgrade or new production run?
Oh, yeah, we can load that. What do you want to name this, though?
What's the name of that weird big-headed turtle from Southeast Asia? The
Uh,
Mata?
Mata.
Yeah.
So call it the Mata.
It
Woulda?
was designed by the Draconis Combine as a budget anti-fly swatter. There you go. The House Kurita commissioned a fly swatter, and they designed it off of a turtle because, of course. What do you think?
That works.
Good.
M4D K4, I guess. Matakata, or whatever.
Mata. I think that's the term for the turtle. But yeah, upgraded Goliath. That sounds interesting.
Or just Mod Cod. That'll be fine.
I think actually you and I think someone else had an idea. So we could do
Yeah,
Goliath first, or your idea first.
You'll do the Goliath first. So Goliath.
'Cause it'll be quick.
No worries.
Or is Goliath baseline? Yeah, here it is. So the Goliath is actually one of the unseen.
You're never seeing it again. And can you show the picture to explain why it won't be seen? Because it's based on something.
It is. McLean's made a version of it too.
Let's just say that a certain man who loves his salads and who directed a hit film called Red Tails was not pleased.
No, it was actually from an anime of some kind.
Oh yeah, Harmony Gold. They're
Yeah.
patent trolls, and there's a reason they're dead now.
They're not dead enough for me. So
That lawsuit's finally over, right?
They're dead now.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Harmony
So
Gold
we're gonna go
killed
for
themselves.
midlife upgrade. We're gonna standard technology. Obviously, the first thing to do is double heat sink it. Come on. Why the heck is this now huge? I don't know why.
It's because you set it to W.
I set it to Wumbo, son of a bitch. Let's see. Oh,
Goliath
no.
accidentally turned it to Wumbo. There we go.
No, it's like suddenly like all the stuff that normally I'd see down here is I have to scroll down to see it, which I'm like, no, please. Don't know why.
You could try
let's see.
control plus and minus. That forces zooms usually. Don't worry, technical issues. The word of Blake is not pleased with us augmenting divine technology.
Not working. All right, whatever.
Fucking Blakist.
Fucking Blakist. So okay,
They
obviously
got
the first thing to do.
angry that we're inventing new concepts like mechs that explode, whose sole purpose is to fucking explode after firing once. Only they're
The first
allowed
thing
to
that
do
we're
that.
going to do is we're going to replace that PPC with an ERPPC. I might have to actually load up a Goliath in another window so I have an actual reference here. Sorry.
Because we got to do the Harmony Gold Tantrum Mecha.
Oh, there is a 2H Goliath, which oh god, that thing looks awful. Oh yeah, that's because it's one of the reseen. That'd be why.
They
hired another country another company to rework the design a bit.
Does it look exactly like what I expect it to be?
Actually, let me double check to see if this is the right model number. GLH1. Yes. It looks pretty bad. So here's the Project Phoenix versions. And here's the Clan Goliath.
It looks like a
Which-
bear.
My God.
I actually kind of don't hate it. It looks like a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Flashbacks to the Last Jedi AT-ATs.
Those are-
Oh God,
no.
you're kind of right, and I hate you.
It kind
You're
of does.
kind of right, and I hate that.
Yeah.
So the whole thing looks like an AT-AT that Ralph McQuarrie would have made.
Well, that's the thing. Actually, since I'm a big Star Wars loser, yeah. If you're wondering why a lot of stuff looks like Ralph McQuarrie, what Kathleen Kennedy and the genius protoplasmic life forms that direct Lucasfilm's creative department have done is they're digging through the trash, literally. You know, the stuff George Lucas is like, yeah, I like your art, McQuarrie, but I kind of want it to make it feel a little more lived in. So I have this new idea, lived in universe. Like, they're taking the literal garbage at the bottom of the dumpster, of Ralph McQuarrie's art. And that's not a knock to McQuarrie. It's just his art was dropped. And that's all they're dredging nowadays. And it's really pathetic and sad and a desperate attempt to keep fans on board. Because, hey, remember this rejected fan design? Well, we dug it out of the fucking dumpster along with half-eaten ho-hos and a salad that one guy who made Eraserhead fucking threw out because he was terrified of having to meet with a human being.
Don't
Now
look
it's
at
all
David
Bring
Lynch.
fucking
back
moldy.
the hand of the glove
Treasure.
of Darth Vader, and that read this as a kid. It was this story about, I don't know if it was the son of the Emperor or something like that, but he had like a mutant eye.
Trioculus.
Trioculus, yes.
Oh my fucking god! Those books are so funny because there's the Grand Moffrents and all that stuff. Doc, greetings. It's so dumb. Which is why they're great. Let's see.
Well,
so can I
also
fit
the
in-
expanded universe is mostly pretty good. There's stinkers, but
like the Grand Moffrents, but hey. I could make these just Artemis, which might be the
other
best way
Ralph
to do it.
McQuarrie designs they pulled out of the dumpster include all of the set pieces in Rise of Skywalker, particularly Exegol comes to mind, because I think that was the McQuarrie idea for I think the Emperor's original throne room planet or something. Basically, anything new in Star Wars is them digging through the dumpster that George Lucas and David Lynch met behind.
Or this, the Zeiston Death Star Destroyers. They literally took the Star Destroyers that they used in Rogue One, added a laser on the bottom, and then slashed red on it. And I believe those Star Destroyers were actually supposed to be like a homage to the prototype Star Destroyer that they used in Episode 4.
You say homage. I think they dug in Ralph McQuarrie's dumpster or his coffin. Maybe he was buried with all of his Star Wars notes. I don't know. To me, it feels like desperation and sadness, especially since to give you an idea on how pathetic Star Wars is. I'm sorry we're talking about that instead of redesigning the Goliath, but it takes time. All good things take time, as the Shigeru Miyamoto once said, as he destroys Star Fox. But basically, they had Porsche. The only new things they designed were those terrible bombers that instantly exploded in Last Jedi. And they had Porsche design a ship that looked terrible and didn't feel like it actually belonged into that universe at all.
Okay, so the TIE fighters that literally had triangles as their fins or whatever, that
What's
wasn't
wrong?
their
What's
own
wrong with just
winged
reusing
design?
prey birds? Now that probably is a McQuarrie ripoff or something. I wouldn't be shocked if they just literally trudged through the dumpster Or it was something JJ said, like, I got to make it 90%, 10% different so I can make money off of it. And so George Lucas makes none of it. That's why C-3PO has the red arm, if you're wondering. It's so that they could use him without paying George money.
I mean, I'm all for paying George Lucas less money, but
At a
right.
certain point, it's just petty.
Although you think that's pathetic, it's the cult of personality around Dave Cowboy Hat Filoni that gets me laughing. Because if you think about it, everything that fans claim to like from him, he wasn't even the main director. It was like George Lucas or some other guy like Favreau. The ones he's personally worked on by himself were stuff like Rebels and the Space Aladdin series and what was it, Resistance? He's an incompetent boob. He's a fan fiction writer given full control, and that's why you'll only ever see his OCs now from the end of time. I fully expect that by the end of it, Ahsoka will ascend and become the new Force goddess, as the Force has to be female.
Better her than Rey.
And because Dave's a Coomer who's better than Rey, my ass. She should have died in Rebels. It's not that I even hate the character. She should have freaking died.
I have no idea
Her
what you
arc
two
was
are
done.
talking about, but I know that you're very salty.
Oh, I agree.
I gotta invent a time wolf anus device to save my waifu, my jailbait for 90% of the series waifu. Fuck off, Dave.
Yeah, 14.
So what did you add to the Goliath?
All right. So for right now, I still need to mount everything, but right now it's a pretty simple upgrade. I was thinking, well, what about a Royal Goliath? The answer to that is quite simple. 2 things of case, 2 small pulse lasers in place of machine guns, an ERPPC, 2 LRM-10s with Artemis 4 fire control because that's just more weight efficient. Same amount of ammunition for them, but now they hit better.
Basically, you're just same equipment. It's just you're just using better technology or discoveries from when it was built.
Yes, that would be what it is. Like, it's not an easy retrofit by any stretch of the imagination.
Especially since it's an unseen.
Well, more that because case installations are hard and also double heat sinks. But it's cheaper than probably getting an entirely new mech for this role, which I have no idea what the fuck they wanted it for, but,
They wanted it because they saw, because, like, whoever designed it saw in the dumpster of a Blockbuster. No, he found a video, like a half-damaged ancient storage device tape in a ruined receptacle in the back of a ruin that says B. Uster. What I'm trying to say is he found it in the ruins of a dead Blockbuster. He found special edition Star Wars Empire Strikes Back in there.
Yeah, let's see. So now it's just time to allocate all the ferrofibrous, because ferrofibrous is just an easy addition to any mech. It's literally just changing the material the armor is made out of, which can just be a bit bulkier, but for the weight, it gives you more protection, so that's why they go for it.
Will be chunkier.
It's going to be slightly bulkier looking, but the upside is that it's now got an ERPPC, which is pretty solid. It's got ferrofibrous armor, which, again, like...
Better protection.
The Artemis systems have been added to the LRM-10s, which means that it is no longer as... it hits more accurately.
And efficiently.
The machine guns have been replaced with small pulse lasers, which is just a logical decision from a I want to kill infantry's perspective, and also from a I want to be efficient with how much space I'm taking up in a mech.
And last but not least, since it's chunkier, that means it looks more adorable. So you can polish it up and put like a smiley face on it as it fires.
It's actually not too expensive. This is also not actually too expensive of a mech. It's at 8 million C-bills. It's at it's fully criticaled out, which, take it or leave it. The heat generation is just 1 heat over,
which is fine.
Which is manageable. Just don't fire a pulse laser every once in a while, and you're fine. The battle value
like a
is
logical
really
evolution.
Yeah, that's what a B usually is, unless you're the Shadowhawk, in which case it's like, yeah, you know how the Shadowhawk. No, you know how it's like, how the Shadowhawk's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. Let's just make it into a close range brawling mech. Let's slap XL engine in it, ferrofibrous armor, an LBX-10 autocannon, a couple pulse lasers, and a couple of streak SRMs.
Have I ever told you the tragic tale of the Jim Sniper Mark II?
Ooh.
So, out of all of the,
Was-
so the Jim is a mech from Gundam. It's the bootleg Gundams that die instantly.
Yeah.
And for whatever fucking reason, the only good variant of the Jim 2, which in some ways was only slightly better than the original Jim that was made like a decade prior. Like the Jim Sniper Mark II obviously was designed for marksmen, and yet despite that, it performed better at every task. It was the true better all-rounder. But it was only given to marksmen and former aces
All right.
rather
so
than
let's-
mass produce it, which is insane, but that's Earth Federation logic for you. To give you an idea, the most tragic tale of all is the Jim Aquatic variant.
Why did they make it try to swim?
Oh, well, you see, the original mechs were space designed, right? So they're not really designed for the pressure differences of sea, and they're not necessarily designed for waterproofing in that regard.
There we go.
What happened
Okay.
was Xeon designed a Zaku marine type. They only built a couple just to kind of test how to make a mech that works fine underwater. They then eventually made their own series called like the Gog, the At-Guy, and the Zgok. Yes, these names are fucking terrible, but hey, they were just what we got. See, they looked at the whole waterproofing the Zaku and said, this is terrible because eventually water's going to leak in anyway and drown the pilot. The Earth Federation said, no, we just waterproof Jim. But I'm drowning in the water. You fight in Jim. We don't need to build no fancy water mech. I'm not even kidding. That's the Federation logic. Like, you know that gun thing I designed that's designed to explode after one use? They don't even give that. Their strategy was drown the Xeon in their own dead.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be why it's so long. But yeah, this would basically just be a
Improved Goliath, like an upgrade.
Yeah. I was gonna say the ERPPC and small lasers would help on a logistics standpoint. It means you don't have to refeed it with ammo every now and then.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, it's a little better at just shredding infantry.
Yeah.
It's win-win.
usually because usually the kind of tech that's in a Royal Battle Mech wasn't very common among the Star League member states, but by 2765 that was a little bit different. I'd say that it was still I'd say that this would definitely be under advanced because it is rocking ferrofibers, it is rocking cased, it is rocking an ERPPC.
And double heat sinks are also advanced.
Yes. But as an idea of like this could easily be something where it's like we wanted to propose a refit for the Goliaths we've already sold.
And some of them were built before everything went to shit.
Yeah, most of them weren't in the SLDF, but I could also see that like there would be a couple of pilots from Star League member states or just in the Royal Regiments in general that would see the Goliath and be like, I want to pilot that.
Like, it has a role. It's a little
does.
baffling, but it has a role.
It's fire support. It's 2 LRM-10s and a PPC. Like, that's pretty solid. It's not great, but you can do far worse.
So, actually, it's getting near to 2 hours. So, one more, Mech. Your idea that you had.
I had the idea of Hideo Kojima basically gets isekai'd in as a weapons designer during the Amaris reign.
Okay, so we're going to go 2575.
Oh, this is going to be good.
All right.
So this is during Stefan Amaris shitting things up.
Yes. Basically, it's Hideo Kojima gets isekai'd in, and the only reason he's allowed to live is because he can design mechs that Amaris likes.
Obviously, it's going to be a tripod.
It just has to be.
It has to be. Like, There's no other explanation. It needs to be as big as possible.
I mean, the other
So,
stupid
100-ton mech.
option, the other stupid options would have been to just recreate the Shagahad.
I mean, yes, but that's just the baby variant of
It's
this.
but
We're
baby.
making something really dumb.
This is how they got his life saved. Then it was told to make it bigger.
He originally said it's a 60-ton mech, and Stefan's like, no, 100 tons.
Baker. So let's see, what can we
Like-
throw on a? It's obviously going to be a bit slow, so let's go for a 2-3. So it's basically going to be a take on the Annihilator. So let's go for double heat sinks. Actually, let's go for an XL engine because this is Amaris we're talking about. So let's go with an XL engine for a 3-5 mech, which gives us 75 tons roughly to play with.
The underwater
little
battle
less.
in the Arctic in Gundam Thunderbolt in the second season was pretty nasty for the Feddies. Purpose-built Xeon Aqua MS. Yep, yeah, it was.
Alright.
In general, even a piece of shit like the GOG is a million times better than being in a gym. Because at least in a GOG, you don't run risk of drowning or having your systems short circuit. I mean, it's a dumpy piece of, it's a dumpy waddling piece of shit, but it does the job right. It has a big fuck off particle cannon in its chest. Because that's something that and there's a reason why aquatic mechs are really dangerous in Gundam. For those wondering, basically the water serves as a coolant, as like a neutralizer for heat.
Mm.
Because of
That's
that,
the case.
you can get away with putting larger weapons inside the, larger actual particle beam weapons in an aquatic mech.
You can actually do that with Battletech. It's very commonly noted for certain mechs like the Thunderbolt that you try to fight around bodies of water with them because walking into water, if you've got heat sinks in your legs, allows you to cool off more efficiently. So for a lot of energy-heavy mechs, they like to be near water.
Which is
All
a
right,
nod
let's
to
go for-
Gundam, which works the same way. That's why the Z-Gok, At-Guy, and I think At-Guy. No, I think At-Guy just used standard equipment. But the GOG also all had particle weapons. They all beam weaponry.
All right, so we're going to go for 2 Ultra AC5s, an ERPPC. I guess we're going to add a bunch of medium pulse lasers.
Also, if you're wondering, the GOG actually had an internal boiler filled with water. If you're wondering why, it's so that it could operate. Basically, it has the massive heat
large
problem that you see in
pulsars.
Battletech. It's heat positive even just while moving. So it needs to actually run through water, or else it runs risk of shutting down or potentially exploding.
And let's add a couple more pulse lasers, I guess.
So
or more
let's
ammunition.
see. You got Ultra AC5s.
An ERPPC, a bunch of medium pulse lasers, some large pulse lasers.
Yep.
Actually, we need missiles. We're
You
gonna
need
drop
missiles
a couple.
and like a nano machine, a weird attack like a nano machine swarm.
I could put a mech mortar on it. But
Like
that's
like
probably not
a weird. It needs like a weirder weapon because this is Kojima here.
We'll give it a pair of SRM6s, I guess.
Like something you don't usually see.
Like hard gel.
Yeah. Snub-nose PPC instead of the standard ER could actually be a good choice because those are actually pretty rare in this time frame.
Like it's not
Actually-
filled with rare, but it's Kojima. He does have like a couple of oddball ideas that you don't.
I could replace the large pulse lasers with snub-nose PPCs and add in another medium pulse laser. It's still going to be hot as hell, but we're also going to need other equipment. We'll add ECM for the laughs. Armor-wise,
It's gonna need some.
12 tons of armor is a little low, so let's drop
That's
the.
pretty bad, yeah.
Let's drop
For
these.
its size, that's really bad.
We'll drop the large pulse lasers just for the fact that I love them. Actually, I'll drop the medium and I'll keep the large.
Could you use the software to say make conventional combat vehicles?
Yes, you
Or
can.
like-
I can actually load that up right after this if you're interested.
We'll do
Yeah.
one more of that.
That
then.
leaves 4 tons to play with. And so let's see, 2 ultra autocannons. Let's start assigning criticals. So obviously we're going to remove the lower arm from both of these, because it's going to be gun arms. So 2 Ultra AC5s, 1 in each arm.
It's a
We're gonna-
tripod too, yeah.
So we're going to add 2 large pulse lasers.
I like how it has all these guns.
And I could add 2 medium lasers to each arm as well, and I think I
it's
will.
triple slung.
Well, actually, a pair of them, so it's quad swung.
So there's 4 levels of gun on each arm.
Yeah. It's going to have this snub nose PPC in the center torso. It's going to rock the SRM6s in each side. It's not going to have case because Kojima is Kojima, and he'd be like, no. So it's going to have a decent amount of armor. I might drop the ECM for yeah, heat sinks are going to be the thing that I'm going to have trouble fitting, actually.
You were able to fit in the 2 doubles.
There we go. I can drop a double and add more armor. And then I'll put these medium lasers in the side torsos. So it's double slung there.
And it has stuff.
Yeah, because it's only got 12 tons of armor, so we're just going to drop that.
Yeah, it's not enough armor.
It's going to be very hot.
Only if you fire all your mechs with all your stuff, which is still bad.
It can only fit 13 tons of armor on it, which I think is dumb.
Terrible.
That's probably because I haven't removed anything from it here. Let's go. So that's gone.
You said you wanted to get rid of the medium lasers, yeah?
No, the medium lasers are fine.
Okay.
That gives me an extra 1.5 to play with.
That's still not enough.
14.5 tons of armor for a mech this armed.
It's light, but, you know.
It's got the 3 legs, which is going to spread the armor a little thin. But it's a 3.5 with a really good long-range punch. 2 Ultra Cannon 5s are pretty decent. But once something gets close, it's going to get mulched. 2 SRM6s.
So what you're saying is my all machine gun mech can destroy this.
Your all machine gun mech is actually going to lose in a gunfight with this. It's going to lose bad.
But you don't understand. I deep strike drop it from orbit, and then it instantly explodes as it lands on top of it.
I might be able to.
That's the secondary function of it. You could drop it like a fucking bomb.
If I drop down to SRM4s, what I could do is I could go for the high ammo count SRM4s, and then use that spare stuff to add in ferrofibrous armor. So if I go can't really fit that. But if I go for no, that won't be enough because I need 6 slots. So I need to drop the medium lasers as well. So I won't bother with that. We'll stick with standard armor, and
It'll just have to deal with the fact that its purpose is distance.
Yeah, I can go for 15.5. That's acceptable. I'll just drop a heat sink. It's going to be even more toasty, but
I mean, you're
26
not firing
heat,
everything, so
you're not. It's a bracket firing machine. Admittedly, its long range options are the least heat intensive, which is those autocannons. You're gonna have to stagger fire with what you've got.
So what you're saying is it's actually like a Metal Gear boss fight where you trick the enemy into using too many of its attacks and it stuns itself or something.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good analogy for this thing. It's nasty up close, but it's going to overheat very quickly.
But its main thing is distance.
And that's the name of it, the gear. The G3R-AX. 2 Ultra Cannon 5s, 2 SRM6s, a snub-nosed PPC, 2 large pulse lasers, 4 medium lasers.
Allegedly invented by a person from another dimension. Stephen Ramirez built 2 of them to defend Terra.
I mean, he built the Rifleman 3. The Rifleman 3 is a monster. Admittedly, the Rifleman 3 is also a 100-ton mech with, no armor, stealth systems, 4 Gauss rifles. It's a shittier Gausszilla, basically. The Annihilator is the king of I wanted to shoot things, the mech. But yeah. A tripod cockpit also requires 3 people in it. So this thing's a weird ass mech. But I think it fits that. Oh, and I've still got a little extra armor to allocate. So there we go. 7 armor for the rear. I'm actually going to drop that, so it's going to have 8 on these rear, 29 in the legs, 23 in the arms, and the left torso, center torso 34. It's an XL engine, so that's a little bit vulnerable, but
Again, its purpose is distance and very quickly overwhelming anything getting close to it.
yeah, anything that gets close is going to get overwhelmed. It can move with an assault force. It can fire quite effectively. It's basically a counter ambush machine. In many ways, this thing. If you get ambushed, this thing has enough firepower to quickly bust you out of an ambush, or it has enough firepower to do an ambush and then quickly overwhelm whatever smaller mech it faces.
I like it. So for the stream itself, because Tech will do more of these actually in chat probably. So the last thing I think is let's try to make a vehicle.
Oh yeah, give me a second to.
Because I like this gear thing. It feels like something Ameris could have made, like a few small runs of that were destroyed in the war.
That's why I figured Hideo Kojima and Immerse would get on like a house on fire.
So let's actually make a
If you
clan
like
vehicle.
houses on fire.
We'll also go for an Omni because that's always fun. We'll have a bunch of pod troop space. We'll actually have 4 tons of pod troop space
I'd
on
make it slightly amphibious.
Ooh, that's actually a fun idea.
Kind of like a duck, you know?
Motive type. I can make it a naval displacement craft. This is going to be a really dumb combat vehicle.
71. It exceeds. It's beyond your mortal ken.
It wants to go fast. Let's make it a 4.6. I think it can go up to like 107 tons.
107 tons.
Let's go for a 100-ton, 100-ton fusion engine attack craft, basically.
So what you're saying is this thing, if all else fails, can ram the mech's leg like the fucking Thunder Child in War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I can make it a super heavy, but
I like how the creation software is like, what are you doing? Stop!
Yes. The Battletech Iowa.
I think it's still valid. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go for super heavy.
So
we're gonna make a super heavy battleship here. I might actually have to make this a support vehicle. Hold on.
So this is actually the IJN Yamato.
Support vehicle. Here we go. It is naval support vehicle. It is a structural rating of F, I guess. I have no fucking clue how this stuff works, so I'm just gonna say that. It's gonna be steam powered.
It's the Thunder Child. Are we making the Thunder Child? Is it gonna like ram that tripod gear thing?
Yes. So
Nice.
Be a madman and throw arrow IVs on a hover chassis.
Oh no!
That could be fun too, but we're gonna make this big.
We're gonna make a gigantic steamboat that's
Hold up.
Is
Load it with
torpedo ramming.
Load it with LRMs called an Arleigh Burke.
I could make the Burke.
Like its purpose is to steam really goddamn fast, firing like LRMs.
About that seems pretty good for a range for something like this. So the Thunderchild's tonnage and displacement is a little bit up in the air depending on what you want. This thing is slow. I could make it a 2-3, I think.
I'd say go for pre-dreadnought.
Let's see. 2-3 would be because it's about 10 kilometers per one. So 2-3 would be this thing could reach about 20.
It's like a pre-dread. It's not supposed to. It's not a fast boy. It's
then a 1-2. All right.
Does that help?
So we're not making the next Montana class then.
Maybe it has a really fast sprint ability. But
all right,
like,
300 is as big as it's going to get.
Like maybe its average movement is slow, but it has like a really quick charge.
I'll give it a ramming plate, so that's going to be fine. Now, that's the thing. I could make this actually quite fast.
Are we gonna make it like so fast it can just destroy a leg by ramming it?
That's the plan. 35 tons. We've got 300 tons to play with for that. Its armor is basically non-existent because armored chassis. So right, armor. Armor type is going to be standard. Its bar rating is going to be 2, whatever.
We
Armor
don't
type
know
rating
what this
A.
is since we don't usually play with vehicles. Let's be honest, we play the giant robot
Yeah.
game.
We'll go for bar 10. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And 5.5 tons of armor is the most it will allow me to have.
That's some pretty good armor for a piece of shit vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, considering the speed of this thing, it's moving 5.8 over water. That's not bad. And it's got a range of 700 kilometers.
Yeah,
It's also a steam engine.
it's a steam engine, you know.
So I can add...
Bully!
oh, I could actually add a mech bay to it. But I don't think I will.
That'd be funny, but that's for like if we decide to go aircraft carrier logic.
Yeah, I think you can build aircraft carriers. I just can't remember how. I don't know if this one allows you to, and I'd have to dig through some of the advanced technical rules.
Missiles.
So,
all the missiles.
So what we can do is, here's a fun fact about vehicles. They don't actually generate heat from missile ammunition,
What's that?
missile weaponry.
So URM-20s? LRM-20s? Let's go.
Let's see how many we can fit on. We're going to add 1, 2... We're going to put two on, and then we're going to add artillery. We're going to put a long tom on this boy, if we can. Why can we not?
Is it too big? Or do we lack the time?
Maybe you have to go advanced or experimental.
Yeah, that would probably be why. We'll go experimental. I could also go for spawns and turrets, but I won't. I'll also say advanced firing control. Equipment. Is it still
Yeah, there you
invalid?
go. It's available.
All right. So obviously in the turret goes the sniper. We're gonna put the LRM-20s in the front of it.
In the bow and stern.
That's just the firing arc. So I actually might put another LRM-20 on this then. Where is my LRM-20? There you are.
So what you're
And
saying
then the
is
rest
this
can go for
thing it kills anything it hits with those missiles.
It's not as many missiles as it could be, but we'll actually drop that. It's not going to have a lot of ammunition if I want the sniper, so I might drop the sniper actually, and we're just going to make this thing an a missile truck.
Missile boat.
Uh,
Maybe put some SRM, bigger SRMs on here.
Oh, do you want to do like close and shore bombardment, or do you want to do long range support?
Well, let's put a couple of thunderbolts on it as well.
What are those again? I know that's a missile, but
Thunderbolts are a specific kind of missile launcher that fires just one big missile.
yeah, put one stupid missile. Two of them, yeah.
Let's go for actually 2 10s.
I assume that's 10 damage each.
Yes. They also weigh 7 tons each, though, which again, not the greatest, but we can deal with that. That gives us a lot of time for a lot of tonnage for other
Stupid
missile
things.
weaponry,
like SRMs and MRMs.
I might actually add a couple MRMs to this. I'll add an MRM to this just for the hell of it. MRM-20. Yeah, that gives us 5 tons to play with for this. 5 launchers. Yeah, we can do that.
All the missiles.
Alright, so the Thunderbolt goes in the turret, which gives us 4 tons to play with for ammunition. And I'll throw the MRM on the front as well. So it's 4 tons to play with by ammunition. I could just drop the armor by a ton.
I mean, its sole purpose is to just shoot and then die. So maybe ram the leg of a mech, instantly shredding it and killing it.
That would be under special equipment. Where is it?
Ram
Ram
plates.
plate. Oh, they don't have it.
That's okay.
I guess it's not viable for naval units. Oh well. It'd be funny, but we can't do that.
They
MRM
didn't
20
want.
though is
They
pretty good.
didn't want to recreate the HMS Thunderchild.
Yeah, so we're gonna say, here you go. Here is a MRM 20 ammo, 2 shots of Thunderbolt. That's 6 rounds of firing for those Thunderbolts, and then
LRM ammo we need, yeah.
we're gonna need a little. We're gonna want a lot of it. If we're gonna actually do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just drop that
Well, since
MRM.
it's a missile boat, would we save tonnage by slowing it down?
Yeah, we would.
Doesn't need to
We'll
be
go for
super.
4.
Yeah.
4.6. That's pretty decently fast. And we're gonna add some.
By the way, for those wondering, this is not a very big boat. Like 300 tons is small destroyer from the 1900s.
I'm curious what a modern battleship would look like.
I don't know if you can build them with Battletech rules completely.
I mean, to give you an idea, classic the original Dreadnought was only 10,000.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot, but by boat standards, to give you an idea, the Bismarck was like 45,000.
I'll actually add an AC, a couple of
And
late
your
AC5s.
average carriers are somewhere between 80 to 90,000. And your smaller ones are still 60,000 tons displacement.
We're gonna give this
Modern
a bunch of
destroyers are
thunder
like
ammo,
10,000 now, so they're basically like
bunch of swarm ammo,
missile things like this.
a lot of swarm ammo. I like swarm ammo a lot. Some precision.
Is it bad, Tech, that I'm envisioning this thing piloting along and they're like, oh, it's just a stupid boat, and then all those missiles begin flying out of it? Oh no, it's a boat!
Oh well, no, we suck again. Some shotgun rounds and then some flak. Ammo.
Just in case you face some compelling infantry.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
Then for missile weapons, I could add a couple of. I think I could add an Arrow 4. I think I've got the tonnage for that.
You do?
Yeah, I do. All right.
Arrow 4, baby.
Ammunition for that Arrow 4. We're gonna go for some homing, some Davy Crockett,
Is there a
which
nuclear option?
That's the nuclear.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna add fast cam ammo and then just standard ammunition of 2 tons.
Oh, you can't use the other two. You can't use.
I'll just drop half a ton armor.
There we go.
There we go. Oh. There we go.
Look at all of that.
So
armament.
that's 10 standard. That's a lot of stuff in there. What I want to do
Might
too
wanna
is I
split
would
it
like
up a
to.
little bit, so it...
Yeah. I'll put these Thunderbolts actually in the. I'll put the light AC5s and the Arrow in the turret, because that's only 1, so I just need to drop a ton of ammunition. So that's not too bad of a thing. I'll just drop a ton of that. There we go.
Now you just gotta
Then
find a
the
way
Thunderbolt
to
10s can go on the front. This thing is 2,408 battle value. It costs 5 million C-bills, and it carries enough LRMs to just completely fuck your day.
and it also
And it's nuclear armed.
Don't forget the MRMs and the flechettes.
It doesn't have the MRMs, but it does have an Arrow 4 with nuclear launchers.
Nuclear capacity.
Yeah, so basically, anything into the front of this is getting drawn by 60 missiles, plus another 2 Thunderbolts. There's the light AC5s for anything that gets too close for comfort, along with Arrow 4 launcher.
And if all else fails, they'll just launch a nuke.
Yeah.
Are you
and it's all armor-piercing ammunition, too.
Are you sure
So,
that the
go fuck
Capellans
yourself.
didn't make this?
This might be a Capellan vehicle. I'm just going to call this the Beep
Used
Beep.
by Capellans, hijacked by another power to use against Capellans.
Officially, according to Capellan identification manuals, this is a fishing trawler.
Renfield, support fast attack craft. There we go. I mean, the fact that it uses steam is really dumb, but
It's beautiful.
it's got advanced fire control. This is like we have a bunch of coal on this planet and we need to patrol the waterways. What do? We build this son of a bitch.
We built this nightmare.
Yeah.
It could be we could be dumber, and we could also like add bays and with like you can build like helicarriers and things. I know that.
Yep. And I think since it's mostly done, for those of you watching, we're going to cut it here. Tech is almost certainly going to continue making horrible, horrible designs. But as of right now, this is it for us. Thank you for working with us, and sorry for the very impromptu kind of bootleg ghetto stream. I do promise that the final spoop video, besides Care Bears, will be Berlin by Night.
Oh dear.
With
Also-
anti-tribute Heinrich Himmler and Malkavian Hermann Göring.
Also, this is valid because it just maxes out its equipment slots.
I do promise. So with that in mind, see y'all.